Good morning. We have come to, oh my gosh, something in the lens. We have come to Wells Reclamation Yard. This vlog is not quite as active as I wanted it to be. I had such plans for this week, but my foot is really playing up, so I'm really having to not do very much. But we thought we'd have a slow wander around Wells Reclamation. We wanted to get some new bolts for our camper van. At the moment we've been putting the cushion on the floor to stop some of the cupboards falling open because the catches that we had just weren't strong enough. So that's one of the reasons why we came, and you know, it's always nice to have a look around and see what they've got. It's always quite exciting. So I thought I'd bring you along with me. We were just admiring these baths. They are incredible, and actually £2,250. That's not actually a bad price. I've seen them a lot more than that in magazine adverts. So yeah, all you need is a very, very solid floor. But they are so cool. I'd definitely have one of them in my house if we won the lottery. Loving this door. Now we just need to build ourselves a porch or something to fit it. Look at that butterfly. Look at them. And then you've got some galloping horses at the bottom there. I love this door. Oh my god, look what we've just seen. Hello. Hello. I think this one might be coming home with us. Well, we think we found what we need. We're going for one of those. That should hold the drawer shut. And what was that? One of these for the fridge. And a cool door handle for my study. That is nice, isn't it? Well, we had a successful trip to the reclamation yard. We came back with the latches that we needed for the van, and we also came back with a new door handle for my room, for my studio. Yeah, I've had a broken handle the whole time we've lived here, but really broken handle for the last year or so. It just falls off. I've got a knack to doing it, but whenever anyone else comes in the room, it usually lands on the floor. So we bought this really cool door handle. We just need to get a new door. What will it fit the cool new door though?
Yeah.
This is really just showing how dirty my door is. Look.
Yeah. Right, it's a bit disgusting. So it's easy enough to just change even with the new door sticker.
So you can see the dirty bit where Merlin barges in. You can see the dirty bit on the other side where he pushes this open. He pushes this, which he learnt when he was like 10 weeks old. If he pushes this, the weight of it opens the door so he can get out again. But yeah, so sorry about the dirty door.
So interesting. I don't know if he's just thinking, well, I better eat some of it. Whether he's more to it.
Yeah, that feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that'll stay.
Wait for that car. No, don't bother. Hello everyone. So, had lunch. Had an indulgent sort out of some pieces of embellished fabric I have. No, sorry Rafiki. I've sorted them out in colour order, which I have done before, but they've got sort of messed up because I didn't put them away properly. And I've also sorted them into what I want to use them for. So some of them are going to be straps, like shoulder straps, and some of them are going to be pieces of fabric that will go across the top of a top. So they're all going to be for tops. So we've got a lot of embellished fairy tale tops coming to threads of a fairy tale soon. So I've come outside now on a bit of a rescue mission for my willow obelisk, which you might have watched me starting a few weeks ago. It didn't go very well. It completely collapsed in the next breezy day. So what I've done is I've actually stuck an extra 2 upright poles in there. And instead of doing the YouTube method of weaving, I'm doing a very, very, very basic method of weaving, which is basically just one piece at a time, in and out, in and out, in and out. I'm just making it as easy on myself as possible because I want to get this done now that the roses that I wanted this for are already in flower. So I'm just going to carry on in this vein, and I'm hoping it will look okay. I mean, it's obviously not going to look professional in the end. A proper willow weaver is probably shouting at the screen or laughing at me, but never mind, I'm having a go. So from down here in the bottom garden, you can see all these fields behind me should be covered in tents and flagpoles and stages, because it would have been Glastonbury Festival weekend this weekend. So I was a little bit sad, but I have to admit I hadn't thought of it as much this year as I had done last year when it was cancelled. It hasn't made me so sad. The weather's been good, which is a shame, but probably just as well it wasn't on this year, what with my foot. So wouldn't have been the best year for me, I don't think, anyway. But anyway, it's still sad. And if you want some Glastonbury Festival nostalgia, this time last year I made a video because it would have been our 25th anniversary of going to every Glastonbury Festival, and I do have a Glastonbury playlist if you want to see our previous years of being there since I started vlogging. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, Glastonbury Festival is the biggest and best music and performing arts festival in the world, and it takes place just over there, which is pretty cool. Well, it's not pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but when it's got roses climbing over it, no one's going to know, are they? So, there we are. Now all I've got to do is lift it up and take it to the other garden and hope it survives the journey. I think it's going to be strong enough. We shall see. Yeah, need a new gorilla pod, I think. By the way, folks, I'm trying to prop you up on a gorilla pod. You know, those wiggly tripods, and done it. Mine has worn out. Does anybody else have a gorilla pod? Do you know what I'm talking about? Mine is just not working anymore. All the joints are just too loose, so it just flops all over the place. Anyway, I've had a little rest to get over all that exertion, and my foot is now killing me, and I'm thinking, oh dear, that was probably a mistake. But I'm just so fed up of resting. I feel like I've been trying to rest my foot for so long. I just had to get outside while the weather was nice and do something. So I'm quite pleased with that willow archway. Chris is now going to help me get it from, I've had to sort of prop it out there because I couldn't get it through the archway into the garden. So I don't know whether he's going to help me get it through there or whether we're going to get it over into the field and then back into the garden the other side. Anyway, so hopefully we'll get that done this evening and put it in place. But I really don't know how I'm going to stop it from blowing over in the wind. Perhaps I'll do some string around it and bury some tent pegs in the ground. That might help, mightn't it? Anyway, I am looking forward to getting the roses up. It's going to be quite exciting. I don't think that will be in this video because the weather forecast is not great for tomorrow. So I'm going to take the opportunity to do a little bit of pyrography. So if you haven't heard of that before, it is burning. It's using a tool. Well, it doesn't have to be a tool. You could just use a stick. Very hot stick. But in modern times you usually use an electric tool which burns onto, again, it's a variety of materials, but it's usually wood, sometimes leather and sometimes other materials. You might have seen it in like tourist destinations where they will personalise wooden gifts for you and write your name. And I've been doing this for, oh my goodness, years. In fact, my first Etsy shop was doing pyrography before I even started putting my clothing stuff on there. So I used to do craft fairs, or and the battery ran out. I'm gonna have to buy a new Gorilla Pod. They're not cheap. Damn it. Right, I'm gonna sit down, and whether I'm in frame or not, I'm just gonna carry on talking. Right, it's wonky, but it's staying still. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit on the wonk, but that will have to do. So, what was I saying? Oh dear, this is really terrible content, I apologise. That was it. I was saying about how I used to do craft fairs, selling a whole load of stuff, and that I do in fact still have an Etsy shop, which isn't very active at the moment, but it's there. If you're interested in some personalised gifts, do go and have a look. It's just called by Helen Hobden, all one word, etsy.com/shop/by Helen Hobden. So one thing I've done every year for the last 3 years, I think, is make myself a pyrographed little symbol, a little charm with my word of the year. And as I've done a video about this every year as well for the last few years, I thought, well, it's about time, as we are halfway through the year. Can you believe it? Halfway through 2021. I thought it was about time that I made this year's charm. And as I wasn't vlogging back in January, I didn't have a chance to chat to you then about my word of the year. So my word this year is create, and then in brackets, and have fun. And the reason why I chose this is because I realised at the end of last year that I had just been stressing myself out so much over the business side of running my business. So much. All I listen to is creative business podcasts, which most of the time I still really enjoy listening to. But I think that on top of, I did Janet Murray's Build Your Online Audience course, which was like a year-long program. I did that last year, and I tell you what, it was just getting too much, and I realised that the fun was completely getting lost in my business and why I started doing it in the first place. And I was spending so much time on the business side of things, I was hardly spending any time actually making stuff. So I thought this year my word would be create. I would take a breather from all the stuff about, because when you're running your business and it's just you, I mean, you are everything. You are CEO, you are web designer, you are copywriter, you're a photographer, you're in charge of PR, you're in charge of marketing, you're the social media manager, and I'm sure there are a million other jobs that a normal sized company would employ people for. Not to mention maker, packager upper, you know, that sort of thing. It all takes time. And I realised I had sort of burnt out on all the business side of stuff. And it's weird because I don't know if you're you have a creative business or you listen to the podcasts, but I'd listened to so many podcasts about business burnout, and some of these stories, they'd really seriously burnt out. You know, they were hospitalized, they had proper nervous breakdowns and things. But the thing that I found curious was that I didn't empathize. I'm really normally quite a very empathetic person, but I found it difficult to empathize with these people because they were all now in a situation where they were coming on podcasts and saying, so that's why it's important to only work a 4-day week or a 3-day week, or, you know, and turn off your phone and don't look at messages for the weekends and take enough holidays. And obviously what had happened was all their working hard not only had led to their burnout, but it had led to a successful business. So it's almost like I think I found myself in that situation where I wasn't seeing burnout as a bad thing. I was seeing it as a good thing, because all these interviews with people that had suffered burnout were just now a situation where they could take it easy because they had a successful business. So rather than being careful not to burn out, I was almost like deliberately, subconsciously trying to head that way. And I kind of realised that I was really doing my head in. Working on the branding, working on everything, you know. We launched the new Threads of a Fairy Tale website last year, so that was exciting. But then at the end of the year, I just felt that I couldn't cope with all that business talk and the business learning anymore. And it was time to go back to creating again. So I'm here to sort of tell my business burnout story. Obviously it didn't get to the point where I was having a nervous breakdown or needed to be hospitalized or anything like that, but I really was running myself into the ground with all this work. So I want to be that person that talks about it a bit, but also can't glamorize it a bit. I'm trying to still build a successful business. It's not there yet. So I guess I want to be that person that says, don't do it. Don't work yourself into the ground. It just might not be worth it. Yeah, I hope I'm sort of making sense here. Let me know if you relate, whether you've ever realised you're just working too hard or stressing yourself out needlessly. So it's a very long-winded explanation to my word of the year this year. And so far this year, at the halfway point, I have mostly done that. I have mostly taken time off all the business side of things. I have made quite a lot of clothes this year. When I count up the number of items of clothing I've made this year, I mean, probably 3 or 4 times the amount I've made in the same time period for the last 4 years, I think. So I'm really quite pleased with myself. And actually now at the 6-month point, I'm also starting to get interested in the business side of things again, just gently, you know. I've got my sewing course to finish sorting out, so that's going to require some proper businessing and also when these clothes are finally for sale, because the opportune time has not come for a photo shoot yet, partly because of my foot, partly because of the weather, partly when the kids have been available to do a photo shoot. It's all unfortunately been delayed, but yes, so when that's all ready, that will go in the shop, and then I'll have to be definitely doing the PR and the marketing then. But I think that's okay. I had a good 6-month run of kind of switching off from business a bit. I mean, obviously to run a business you can't step away from it completely, but it was nice to have a break. And I guess that's just, yeah, what I wanted to chat about today. Let me know your business stories, freelance stories, if you're in that sector. That would be lovely to hear in the comments. And I think I'm just gonna leave it there, and I will see you again next time. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please share with your friends. I'd really appreciate that if you send them the link, and I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye.